Good morning, good morning. You find us here in the presence of the old men of the African bushveld. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buffalo bulls. It's very nice to have you along. Wherever you are in the world, in North America, you're probably an insomniac. In Australia, you're probably settling down to your afternoon tea or a gin and tonic. And in Europe, well, you're pretty much on track with us, and you're probably settling into a morning coffee. We're out here in the Greater Kruger National Park, 2.2 million hectares of sublime African wilderness. Behind the camera, I have Andrew, who looks a bit like Freddie Mercury, actually, so it's a little disconcerting as we drive along. In the control room, we have Nikki and Eugene, and on the other car, we have Scott behind the camera, and Chris, who's trying out today as a presenter, so please send him your warmest energy across the satellite waves or however it's done. He's going to be trying out for us today. So, and my name is James, by the way. Most importantly this morning, other than the wild animals that we're hopefully going to try and show you, please feel free to talk to us. We love it when you communicate through comments or questions or anything else you'd like to say. Hashtag SafariLive is the Twitter handle, and the email is questions@wildearth.tv. The moment you can't phone us, sorry about that. So my plan this morning is there was a male leopard found in this area last night, so we're going to try and pick up his tracks once we've finished looking at these buffalo. I'm not going to move just yet, because we have just had heard the sound of some lions roaring just to the north of us. Sounds quite far, probably off the reserve that we're on at the moment, but I just want to sit here for a while and see if we can't hear them again. And I believe some of you who've been watching the Juma Cam have had lions or heard lions early this morning at about 5:30. So that's pretty good news. Now, we're quite a long way from that area now, and the lions that I heard calling certainly weren't calling from that area, so there might be others in the vicinity, which is great. So you can see these old bulls, after an exhausting night of standing about eating grass, are now starting to lie down where they'll chew their cud and spend most of the day doing that. They'll eventually, if it warms up, the temperature outside is about 15 degrees Celsius. For those of you living in the 17th century and still using Fahrenheit, that's about 59 degrees Fahrenheit. And there's a bit of cloud cover. It sort of feels a bit like there's a front end, so I don't think it's going to warm up that much. So the point of that story, of course, is that the buffalo will not necessarily move towards their traditional. They'll always move towards water if it's a bit warm, but today they might just lie here. And the reason they need water so much, especially at this time of year, is that their digestive systems are very efficient. But when it gets dry like this, the only thing that limits their ability to extract nutrients from the bush is water. They must have water. We've got lions. Got lions. Andrew, where are they?
Straight on the road.
Andrew spotted a big male lion coming down the road. We're going to sit right here. Well spotted, Andrew. There's that big male coming down the road. Big black mane male. That's magnificent. Look at the dust settling. The flies are flying. The oxpeckers are going. Just sneak a little bit forward. Well spotted, Andrew. Look at him. Here he comes. Your Majesty. great cat has put all 8 of those huge buffalo to flight. I'd be fascinated to know from our regular viewers who know the lions around here. I've never seen this male. I'd love to know who you think he is. Apparently, he might be part of a coalition of 2 called the Matimba, which means strength in Shangaan. He's a magnificent beast. Look at him. His big black mane. That's quite interesting. He's rolling in the buffalo dung. Or certainly where the buffaloes were lying. It's not a very royal thing to do, of course. You can see that he's got a... Gosh, he might call. His big black mane is a testament to his age. He's really in the prime. So a few of you have come through and said you think he's a Matimba male. Oh, look at him. Marking territory. That is the king in his prime. And that his brother... he's making some contact calls, so his brother may be around here. I haven't heard a response, though. I'm going to turn quickly. Thanks to Chris and Blair for that information. There you can see the buffalo waiting for him. It's a big group of buffalo bulls. And he'll be a little wary of them, but you can see how they responded to him. Buffalo are all watching him very carefully. Now they're coming forward, and he's moving away. Watch this. Here they come. Here they come. Discretion is the better part of valor. Not really sure how we're going to follow this because I don't want to get in these buffaloes' way. Try and flank them on the side. But you can see how they have no patience with this big lion. They've gathered their thoughts rallied around, encouraged each other, and now they're going to show him what they think of him. To get in their way, they'll be in a very heightened state of alarm at the moment, so we want to keep our distance. These big old bulls. Okay, I'm going to try and get round them. See if we can't follow the lion. Andrew, they come at the car. You hold on. There we go. We've got negotiated the beefaloes. We'll see if we can find the lion again. Tracks are going down this road. Hope we can find them again. See them anywhere, Andrew? Quite fast towards the southern boundary. We've had an incredible sighting of him. So exciting to see a big male like this in his prime. Can you hear him? Listen to him. Rubbing his scent onto that worry bush. The animals, the grazers don't eat, so the cats often use a worry bush to mark on. Fascinated to know where his brother's gone. He's listening. I can just hear his footfalls disappearing now. So I'm afraid this is the end of that sighting because he has crossed our boundary. So what we'll do is we'll drive back up on the same road we were on and see if maybe his brother's behind him. I think it's unlikely. From his direction, I would say that he's probably heading towards his brother. What a magnificent sighting that was. That is a really exciting thing to find after 2 very quiet days we've had, and my first time with a male like that for a great deal of time. Right, so we're going to turn around, see what we can see. I just want to quickly show you his tracks so you can see exactly what a fresh male lion track looks like. I mean, be careful of just hopping out the car in a situation like this. That's a 180 to 200 kilogram animal. Which one can you see, Andrew?
That one.
Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Okay. And he's hardly made an impression. I mean, were I to walk across and my handprint would make more of an impression than his paw has. So even though he's 180 kilograms, I'm just looking around, he will leave hardly a mark as he moves. So you can appreciate how difficult it is to track these animals. Right, we're going to turn around, go back past the harassed buffalo, and see if we can't find the brother. Magnificent start to the day. Well spotted, Andrew.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to finally meet everybody. My name's Chris. I'll be taking you on this portion of the live safari today. Just a little bit about myself. I've been a guide now for roughly about 15 years. Spent the majority of my time within the greater Kruger Park area. And what we're going to try and do today is we're basically following up on that male leopard that was seen yesterday. It's myself and Scott here, and I believe we've had quite a treat that James has provided. And what we'll do, oh, look at the kudu. Now, kudu, being very typical woodland creatures, got very, very large ears. So you can see there. And that is a vital adaptation for living in this very thick woodland savanna region. Their main predators being leopard and lion, they need early detection methods to be able to early detect, and they rely heavily on their hearing. And very importantly, their camouflage. As you can see, they've got those lateral stripes running down the body, the white facial markings, the markings on the legs. As you can see there, it makes them disappear almost in total. And what a vital skill that is. Just breaks the outline, merges with the background color. Kudu is quite a widespread antelope found in the majority of the savannas of southern Africa and further abroad, stretching right up into East Africa. The one that we have down in the south there is called the southern greater kudu, which is the larger of the different variants of kudu that is found. These are basically females. The males don't spend all their time with these ladies. They tend to form little bachelor groups out of the breeding season and just momentarily joining up with the females within the breeding season, which are not as clearly defined as what you would find with some of the antelope. For instance, Impala has got a very, very fixed breeding season, very fixed rutting season, where the males physically mate with the females. Would be good if we can see one of those males. They've got these massive, massive corkscrew horns. Definitely, by far, one of my favorite antelope. Right, what we're going to try and do, Scott and I decided we're going to check the scout line. There was some line activity yesterday. Going to follow up and perhaps we can provide a treat. Never know. Trapped and resulting in a slightly warmer temperature in the morning. However, if the clouds persist, you would find that the later morning temperature. So Scott is just helping me out with directions. You want me to go straight and then north?
Straight, and up ahead we can turn left.
Thank you, Scott. Bit of background. I know Scott and Brent quite well, having worked together in portions of the Kruger Park previously in our careers. Very good friends. I haven't seen Scott in a while, so it's fantastic to be reunited with some of the old acquaintances. Thank you for the opportunity, Scott.
It's so good to have you here, Chris.
Right, we're going to be checking this scout line over here. What I did find, however, is with these overcast mornings, is that literally could be quite quiet. The horns haven't finished all its turns. That is the kudu male. As you can see, there is a fine ridge of hair, which is again with the male slightly more prevalent, makes them appear larger. They can also make that hair stand up very much in the same way we get goosebumps, to accentuate themselves when they have to display when other males are present, usually in the mating season. But you can see, look at the muscular neck. Still a young male. Now, kudu are mainly browsers, which means they feed mainly on leaves and herbs. However, to supplement their diet, they have been known to take to grass. And here's a speaking example. Although the bulk of their diet would be leaves as such. Here in the Sabi Sands, we mainly have what we refer to as a broad-leaved woodland, which consists mainly of, or rather dominated by, a family called the bush willows, which especially in this time of the year is one of the favorite leaves that kudu would browse upon. Those horns are also a very, very useful tool for feeding for the males. It's been said by various biologists that the males, because of the increased size and activity, have a much more specific nutritional need, often resulting in them looking for leaves quite high up onto the trees. They've been known to use those horns as leverage to break branches in order to get some of the real juicy bits. And often you would find other creatures afterwards feeding on those. This guy's in prime condition for this time of the year. It's quite a harsh period that they're going to go into. The dry season is a testing time for kudu. Kudu is often one of our indicators of droughts. one of the first animals to lose condition, especially now in our fall, where the majority of these trees will shed their leaves, with the exception of a few. And it will be challenging for this man to keep up that bulk and conditions throughout the dry season, that is our winters. Hi, Kathy from Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you for your question. Kathy would like to know, how cold does it get in this part of the world, the South African lowveld, and does it ever snow? Kathy, this is a subtropical savanna region with a summer temperature that can reach close to 109, if not more. Winter, however, it rarely drops. In terms of Celsius, it rarely drops below 2 or 3 degrees. However, for us who have climatized here, it's quite cold. Bear in mind, our daytime temperatures could be borderline summer temperatures, and the drop in the evenings, especially early morning, from 100 to about 60, has the effect that it becomes quite cold, and it does not snow in this part of the world. It is basically too hot, and we are too close to the equator. However, if you go a little bit further west to the so-called escarpment of the country, where the altitude rises very dramatically to close to 5,000 foot, you would find that sometimes in very, very cold winters, you might have a little bit of snow. Ironically, I have never seen snow in my life. Never touched it, being in this part of the world. I've just received an update from James. He is not on the vehicle at the moment. He's tracking some lions, or looking for more tracks of more lions. So I will entertain you a little bit furthermore.
Can we reverse a bit, Chris?
Certainly, Scott. Scott in the back. What more can a man ask? What more can a man ask? I think what we'll do, we'll continue on this road and just see what comes up. The bush is full of surprises. There's always something. We just need to find them. Morning, Dave from Toronto. Dave wants to know, with kudu, sable antelope and roan antelope, what are the size differences? And are there any major differences in their diet? Well, Dave, of the three that you just mentioned, the roan antelope is the largest. In fact, the roan antelope is the second largest antelope in Africa, only outweighed by the eland. Kudu are just behind roan antelope as far as weight's concerned.
Found what looks to be the rest of the Nkuhuma Pride. Again, I was staring at the floor. Andrew managed to spot them. We're going to drive off-road here and see what's there. We've got at least one lioness. Well done, Freddie Mercury. On her own.
I can see another one.
Okay. Andrew spotted some more. He's got his full focus Freddy eyes on today. Can we get through this stick here?
Yes.
Oh, they're the rest of them. Won't get past that one. Figure out where we are. Try and avoid damaging this tree too much. Looks like the Nkuhumas. One young male, a few others. Let's see if we can get into a decent position. Great stuff. As far as I know, they managed to chase a couple of impala yesterday, but I don't think they managed to kill anything. Station's located Pride of Lion. I think the animals are just off Hippo Pools Road. I'm sorry, my directions are not great at the moment. Probably about 300 meters to the east of the junction, west of the junction with Cheetah Cut Line. It looks like they're going to be moving towards into the middle of the property, which is a great thing for us. Not quite settled for the day like you might expect them to be on a hotter day. I'm not going to move the vehicle just yet because we're going to get some nice views there. A Pride, just on Hippo Pools Road. Yes, as far as I understand.
Okay, I'll come and join you there. Come and put service.
Copy. Now I have to try and guide the other game drives into the area. Unfortunately, I haven't been here very long, so my knowledge of the roads is not great. But as long as we've got the lions. And those of you who followed the fate of this young male will be interested to know, I'm sure, how long he's going to last in the pride like this. We really don't know at this stage. It's quite unusual that he's still in the pride at this age now. And I suspect the fact that he is has something to do with the fact that he doesn't have brothers, which will often form a coalition and move off. So he's probably being tolerated because he's on his own. But that will change if he tries to start mating with the females in the pride. I'm just going to reverse and see if we can't get a nice view of the lionesses. Welcome to the morning or dawn safari. You want to know why it is that the Matimba male there, I just want to get past this young male without giving him too much of a fright. They are very used to us. Judy, I'll come back to you. Sorry, little fella. Don't be afraid. It's just a tree. That's not great. Sorry, boy. I'm just going to let him settle down again. I really don't like it when I give them a fright like that. Judy, the reason that he's on his own is that they will often patrol together, alone, not always together. They have a vast area to cover. The other male may have been finishing some meat. He might be slightly injured. He may be with another pride somewhere in the process of mating. But they don't always have to be together, although they will always be within their territories, or normally. So while I frightened this poor chap, he's giving us a rather magnificent view. But I'm not sure if you can see the size difference between him and the Matimba male that we saw earlier. He's developing the sort of strength in his shoulders and his hindquarters, but he's not as tall, and he definitely doesn't have a mane like that one. They're definitely on the move. They do look like they're going into a slight stalk mode, so I'm going to keep my distance. Try and get past this vegetation, which is threatening to hem us in here. Okay. I'm going to follow the pride. The young male. Okay. Now they're stalking. Go ahead.
Sorry, man. You think we can still get your vision from the road?
I'll get you audio from the road, definitely.
Okay. heading south from Beverly Hills, yeah, southeast.
Okay, copy. So she's the left horn. The right horn has gone round the other side, and they'll be flanking something. I think they've given up. Oh, no. Yeah, they've given up.
I drive all the way from Liverpool Road to the junction of Quarry Tent Road.
So the young male is there, and here's the rest of the pride in front of us.
I drive all the way from tell me at Liverpool Road on Hoover Road.
I'm sorry, man. I'm in that area of Hippo Pools Road. Can you just give me a loud rev? I'll see if I can hear you. Yes, I'm creating havoc here for the other game drives. Wasn't that incredibly exciting? So unfortunately, the kudu spotted them. Often, if the lions are hunting during the day, it's not so easy for them. And also, if they're hunting with sub-adults, it'll often be difficult. Andrew, did we lose any limbs there?
All attached.
All attached? Termite mound there. Probably to get a better view of things.